The real reason why Squidward Q Tentacles hates SpongeBob SquarePants. Squidward the grumpy, sarcastic neighbor who can't stand SpongeBob. But have you ever stopped to think why Squidward really hates him? Sure, SpongeBob's annoying, but is that all there is to it? Or is there something deeper going on beneath Squidward's bitterness? In this video, we're going to break it all down and explore how unfulfilled dreams, jealousy, and emotional frustration might actually be at the heart of Squidward's hatred. By the end, you might see their relationship in a whole new light. Part 1. The obvious reason. Let's start with the obvious. SpongeBob is super annoying, and Squidward is his favorite target. SpongeBob's non-stop laughter, endless energy, and total lack of boundaries make him impossible to ignore. Squidward just wants to live a calm, quiet life, but SpongeBob is always there to crash the party, whether Squidward likes it or not. A perfect example is in the episode Boating Buddies. Squidward gets forced into boating school with SpongeBob, and what should have been a simple lesson turns into complete chaos. SpongeBob follows him everywhere, calling him his buddy, which drives Squidward insane. Then there's Bubble Stand, where SpongeBob's bubble-blowing hobby becomes a noisy, over-the-top spectacle right outside Squidward's house. No matter how hard Squidward tries to ignore him, SpongeBob always manages to get in his way. At one point, Squidward even tried to blow a bubble himself, but of course, it only led to more chaos. But here's the thing. If it were just about noise, Squidward would have found a way to tune it out by now. There's something deeper fueling his frustration, something emotional that goes beyond annoyance. Keep this in mind. We will need it later. Part 2. Unfulfilled dreams and jealousy. Squidward's bitterness comes from a place of deep disappointment. He sees himself as this incredible artist and musician, destined for greatness, but life hasn't gone that way at all. Instead of playing in sold-out concerts or showcasing his art in fancy galleries, he's stuck working a dead-end job at the Krusty Krab, ringing up orders day after day. It's like he's constantly being reminded of the life he thought he'd have, and SpongeBob, with his endless energy and optimism, just makes it all feel worse. He's like a walking reminder of everything Squidward hasn't achieved. In Artist Unknown, Squidward teaches an art class, hoping to prove himself as a great artist. But SpongeBob accidentally creates a masterpiece that outshines anything Squidward could make. No matter how hard Squidward tries to destroy it, SpongeBob's natural talent steals the spotlight, leaving Squidward humiliated. Then there's Band Geeks. One of the most iconic episodes. Squidward gets the chance to lead a marching band and finally earn the respect he's been craving.
Brass section, go! Good! Now the wind! And the drums!
At first it's a disaster, but SpongeBob's leadership saves the performance, giving Squidward a rare moment of glory. However, even in his victory, Squidward is forced to acknowledge that SpongeBob played a major role in his success. This whole situation just fuels Squidward's frustration. No matter how much effort he puts in, SpongeBob always seems to come out on top without even trying. But it's not just about work, it's deeper than that. Squidward can't stand how SpongeBob is always so genuinely happy, like he's completely content with his life. Meanwhile, Squidward feels stuck, like he's constantly chasing something he can't reach. It's not just jealousy over success, it's envy of SpongeBob's ability to find joy in the little things, something Squidward can't seem to do. In Squidville, Squidward finally snaps and moves to this perfect, quiet neighborhood full of other squids. At first it's everything he thinks he wants. No SpongeBob, no Patrick, just peace and order. But after a while, he starts to feel like something's off. The silence gets to him, and weirdly enough, he finds himself missing the chaos and unpredictability of his old life. The episode hits on this big truth. Squidward realizes that SpongeBob's happiness isn't just dumb luck. SpongeBob has this way of finding joy in the smallest, silliest things, while Squidward can't seem to do that, no matter how hard he tries. And honestly, that's what really gets under his skin. It's not just about the noise or the annoyances, it's about the fact that SpongeBob has something Squidward can't figure out how to have for himself. In Breath of Fresh Squidward, something wild happens. Squidward gets electrocuted and ends up with SpongeBob's overly positive attitude. For a little while, he's actually happy, finding joy in everything and living life with this weird, carefree energy. But when he snaps back to his old self, the bitterness hits harder than ever. It's like he got a taste of what it's like to be SpongeBob, but deep down, he knows he can't keep that up.
SpongeBob, Patrick, what are you two still doing here?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what's the big idea?
That realization just makes him dislike SpongeBob even more, because it's a reminder of how far he feels from ever being that happy. Part 3. The emotional burden. Squidward's hatred for SpongeBob isn't just fueled by jealousy or annoyance, it's also tied to the emotional weight of being stuck with him day after day. At the Krusty Krab, Squidward is trapped in a job he despises, working alongside someone who seems to love every second of it. While SpongeBob views the Krusty Krab as his dream job, Squidward sees it as a prison. A great example of this tension is in Can You Spare a Dime? After quitting his job following a fight with Mr. Krabs, Squidward tries to find work elsewhere but fails miserably. He eventually ends up homeless and is forced to beg for his old job back. This episode shows just how much Squidward feels trapped by his circumstances. No matter how much he dreams of leaving, reality keeps pulling him back to the one place he wants to escape. And SpongeBob, with his constant cheerfulness and unshakable optimism, makes that burden even heavier.
Why don't I call someone whose job it is to fix it? You know why? Because when I need a job done, I get someone with a job to do that job!
What are you saying?
Another telling example is in Squid on Strike. Squidward leads a protest for better working conditions, hoping to make a real change, but SpongeBob's naive enthusiasm derails the strike. He destroyed the Krusty Krab, and now they both have to work there forever. Instead of gaining freedom or improved conditions, Squidward finds himself right back where he started, miserable behind the cash register. This failure isn't just frustrating, it reinforces the idea that Squidward is stuck in a cycle he can't break.
Squidward! SpongeBob!
Yes, Mr. Krabs? Here it comes!
In order to pay off these damages, you two are gonna work for me forever!
Yahoo! The strike worked, Squidward. We got our jobs back. Forever! 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 Forever!
What makes it even worse is that SpongeBob's intentions are never malicious. He genuinely cares about Squidward and sees him as a friend, which adds a layer of guilt to Squidward's resentment. In Dying for Pie, when Squidward believes SpongeBob is going to die, he spends the entire day making sure SpongeBob is happy. Even though he complains and rolls his eyes, Squidward's actions reveal that deep down, he does care. Remember what I said in the beginning? This emotional connection is part of what makes Squidward's life so complicated. He doesn't want to care, but he can't help it. SpongeBob's constant presence forces Squidward to confront his own failures, insecurities, and regrets. And even though Squidward blames SpongeBob for making his life miserable, the truth is that without SpongeBob, Squidward's life would be even emptier. The real reason Squidward hates SpongeBob. So, why does Squidward hate SpongeBob? It's not just because he's annoying. SpongeBob represents everything Squidward wishes he could have. A life full of joy, simplicity, and success without struggle. Squidward's resentment comes from envy, disappointment, and regret over the life he feels he's missed out on. But here's the twist. Deep down, Squidward knows SpongeBob is one of the few people who genuinely cares about him. Without SpongeBob, his life would be way lonelier and emptier than he'd ever admit. It's complicated, but that's what makes their dynamic so real. What do you think? Does Squidward secretly need SpongeBob in his life, or is he doomed to hate him forever? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.